Hi, it's Nicole, and I'm trying to get back into the swing of doing video reviews and things for the books that I'm reading. I felt like after the end of 2021, I needed some calming reading that would make me feel organized and sort of more put together. And for me personally, that tends to be minimalism and organization topics, things like that. So I picked up the Afrominimalists Guide to Living with Less by Platt. This book, I would say, isn't super groundbreaking, I suppose, in that I don't feel like any minimalist books possibly can be, unless you have literally no concept at all and can't even imagine what the idea of minimalism might be all about just by, hearing the word and guessing. If it still astounds and confuses, then I don't know what to tell you. I just feel like the whole topic is pretty simple. But this book actually did surprise me a little bit. I would say a lot of the minimalist books that are out there, a lot of them are how-to books, and I think that's really easy to do because everyone already knows how to pare down things, how to declutter, whatever. Go through this drawer and get rid of the stuff that you don't use. Well, pretty basic. But I would say this is more of a book that is a supplement to that kind of how-to book. It looks at privilege, it looks at how minimalism relates to people who are not white, looking at the context of minimalism. It looks at a lot of things societally that goes beyond the regular minimalist thing of, oh, are you keeping up with the Joneses? Maybe don't do that. Like, it goes beyond basic and looks a little bit more into, what kind of historical things have affected your demographic that might also be affecting the way that you handle money, the way that you acquire things, your relationship to things. It looks at minimalism in relation to BAME people in general, but it looks more specifically at Black people. So one of the things that she brings up is the fact that from slavery to even today, mortality has been very present in a lot of Black people's lives, as in you could die tomorrow is a very real possibility. And in that context, does it make sense then for you to save anything at all? Does it make sense for you to plan long term? Those kinds of things aren't really relevant to a slave, let's say, or someone in the kind of Jim Crow era, or even today, a lot of people kind of don't see the sense in that. So there's a lot of living in the present. It's one of those things that I think a lot of people from the outside can look at and be like, oh, that doesn't make any sense, you're such a financial idiot. But actually looking at the historical context that people are living within and the differences for different demographics, it actually kind of makes sense, and you can sympathize, and you can kind of if you are within that demographic, you can kind of look at yourself and be like, how have these things affected me in the way that I handle my own money? Another thing that was interesting about that is also where she looks at your personal history and like, how do your parents handle money, and what kinds of lessons have you intentionally or unintentionally taken from them and their relationship to money. What has been passed on through your own specific family, and why, and is it still applicable to you today, and how does that affect your relationship with acquiring objects and things like that. She also goes a little bit into ownership and how we think of the things around us and how we form these sort of quasi-ownership relationships with things that we don't even own yet, and then how we come to own things that we don't particularly want or need, but it's because of this quasi-ownership thing that is encouraged by salespeople to get us to want to have that thing and then have that thing, and then how that is in conflict with what our actual needs and wants might be. So yeah, a lot of it was really interesting to me. I feel like it brought something to the minimalism game that isn't often discussed. It brought more of that societal context in that I think was a big piece that's often missing from minimalism books that I read, and she looked a lot more into the whole privilege aspect of things that I don't really see a lot in most of the minimalism books that I read. So I really appreciated this one, and I would recommend it if minimalism is something that interests you as well. That's all for now, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!